Yo, 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 I'm Sam Long, and you're watching Ironman Hacks.
Thinking of doing your first full Ironman? Well, meet Jeff, a dedicated age grouper with a goal, Ironman Frankfurt. In this video, we cover how Jeff and I built consistency, handled setbacks, and trained smart. And this includes 185-kilometer rides with 32-kilometer bricks, and a lot of honest conversations along the way. If you're wondering whether you're ready for your first full, this might be the reality check and the motivation you need. So hey Jeff, how's it going?
Awesome, Andrew. How are you been?
Okay, excellent. We just had a good swim out there, open water swim. You tested out your wetsuit. We can talk about that, but first tell me a little bit about who you are and what we're doing.
Yeah, so I've been in Singapore about 11 years, and I was in triathlons and started Ironman probably 6 years ago, and met Andrew and Kaz coaching last January, and wanted to get a little bit more serious with it. And so it's definitely been great having them around, and the necessary coaching plans, and even today coming out with me and spending the time with me that's necessary. And so the journey has really been, on and off for the first 4 years of just kind of getting into it 3-4 months before starting to train.
Yeah.
Then taking about 6 months off and doing it again. And now since January, it's been 18 months of pure kind of dedication to a half Ironman in Massachusetts in June last year, and then Langkawi in July, and then decided, I got some free time that let's go after a full in June in Frankfurt.
Yeah, so Jeff, you did your first, not first, but with me, your first together a year ago. It was almost this weekend, I think, that you did Western Massachusetts, right?
Yeah, that would have been, yeah.
Yeah. And so then after that, you were wondering, if you could get into a full, and now we're training for, tell them about what you're training for and when it is.
Yeah, I'm training for Frankfurt Ironman, which is June 29th. It's definitely the last year, so all of 24 was spent really training for 70.3s with Andrew and folks. And come January, made the decision that let's do a full. Let's really kind of push the body and see if I can get there, and if the dedication is there. And spent really the last 6 months towards Frankfurt.
And so, in my experience, I mean, the thing that you've done really, really, really well is you've just been massively consistent. So I don't think you've really missed workouts, actually, almost at all, except for maybe you were like, if you're sick or traveling or something like that goes wrong. But how is it that you've been able to be so consistent?
Yeah, I think for me, it's really just the mindset, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some mornings, some evenings I don't want to go out and do it. But I think having a coach has actually really helped me, because I actually feel bad sometimes if I don't go out and do it. And so it's been great. It's really just that dedication and that mindset of like, just go out and get it done. Some days are going to be good. I read something where it's like 30-40% of your workouts are going to be good, 30% are going to be bad, and the other 30-40 are going to be great. And you definitely have your bad days, and you just got to be prepared for those. And when they show up, and don't get discouraged, but it's like continue just to push the body and the mind.
So what are some of the hardest days you've had in the past few months?
My hardest probably week was actually not this past week, the week before that. I was actually sick 2 days, and then on a Friday decided to do 185 and a 10K brick, and then followed up that next day of a 32K run. It was hard, but I think I was prepared for it. I think if I look back probably earlier in the year, those were probably some of the harder ones. Some of the where we'd speed up towards the end of a run. The first half was kind of an easy, and every 5 minutes, a cadence run. Progressive run. Yeah. Those were probably my harder days, just to get that foundation, really.
But you've built that foundation. I mean, we did a series of, builds, 3 weeks building and then 1 week, recovery. And tell them, like, what are some of the distances you've been doing over the past 2 to 3 months in terms of like bike builds and then brick runs after that? Yeah,
so I mean, I think we started out at 90, 100, probably 3-4 months ago, and doing a 4, 5, 6K run after that. And I will say what I've enjoyed about training for a full versus a half is really a lot of the high zone 1, zone 2 work, right? And so it's really just getting out there and doing it. It's not like hurting your body. It's not, your lungs aren't hurting. You just got to go, right? Yeah. And so we were doing, 90 and 4, 90 and 5s, and 12, 20K run, something like that afterwards. And now we're getting out to the last 3 big weeks were something like 160 and I think 160 and a 12. And then it was 170, it's supposed to be 14, and I got to 12. I got a little bit of heat exhaustion, I think.
That's okay.
From that. But monitor the heart rate and things like that, and just made my way to 12. And then last week, a week prior, was 185 and 10. And even next week, I'm not scared anymore of doing, 120 and a 12, and then follow that with 32. It's been nice being able to get that far out.
Right. Amazing. So this build, I don't think it would have been unfathomable to talk about doing 185 on the bike and a 14K brick after that, and then the next day go out and run 30 kilometers. But I think now that you've done it, you've got that out of the way, you've built that confidence. You know that when the race day comes, you won't have any issues.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's always the swim has been the hardest, right? And I think we were talking about it today in the water of I had a little bit of fear in Massachusetts. Langkawi, I felt great. We came out here today, and I think just through all the training in the pool and just getting out here and be confident in knowing how to swim and what to do, this was easy today. And the 185 and all these, yeah, it's just a build up and having that confidence. Like, you put out on my training plan 120 and 10, I don't get nervous about it. The 32, I know what to expect. And it's really just that challenge of the body. It's the challenge of the body, but it's also the challenge of the mind, right? Getting out to 20, 25, my legs don't hurt anymore. It's How do you get to that 32? How do you get to that 40? That's all part of it. I know you asked before about how I kind of did some of this, and dedication. A lot of it is family too, right? So very supportive family in all of this. So the wife there have been some days where, hey, this isn't an easy day because you're doing so much training, but really it's the support of the family and knowing that I got to get this stuff in, and them pushing me to get it as well has been beneficial.
Yeah. I mean, if your family's not on board, then it's a recipe for disaster. I've seen it happen, and it's not pretty.
Yeah.
So Jeff, one of the other things I don't think I've told you, but I think your success and your ability to build this is partly down to your communication. You communicate with me so well, and I could tell this to any athlete. The more you message me and the more you communicate with me, the more you will engage me. I mean, I try to communicate with all my athletes, and I try to message them and leave comments and send them WhatsApp messages a lot. But you seem to be more responsive, and by having all these chats and discussions, it commits me even more, and it makes me understand you even better. And you might not realize it, but you're creating that for yourself by initiating a lot more, longer chats and discussions and engagements with me. It really helps me.
I know it helps me too, right? So we've had some discussions between bricks of like, hey, that ride was tough, right?
Yeah.
And what do I need to do here? Like, how do we, and your response is, hey, get out and just start running, get moving, right? And even after those of talking about some personal things that you're going to struggle and do things on a run, you may have to stop and use a toilet. You may, I think as a athlete working with a coach, I think you have to be transparent. Like, hey, I had to stop 3K in and use a toilet. Have you been through this? What do I need to do? Your nutrition's not working. My stomach's in this way. I had to stop and have a Coke. I had to stop because I feel like if I don't share that with you, I'm not going to get back, hey, change this or tweak that. It's just going to be a very kind of mute kind of response of like, just do the training. And also it's nice to talk to someone through this. Like, yes, Ironman is a lot of doing it by yourself. There's a lot of time by yourself.
Yeah.
Even the day of the race, yes, everyone's there and supporting each other, but it's still you versus you and kind of going against it and having a coach to kind of bounce things off of, because you can't do it to your wife because she's not going to know, or a partner.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's been very beneficial for me as well.
Excellent. Well, I think, we're just a few weeks out from your race, Jeff, and you've put in the hard work. You've done like more than 99% of the training, to be honest. You've done the hardest things ever. And so now when you get out there, whatever pain you felt here in Singapore in the heat training, I look at it, and I've told you before, it's pain you won't feel in the race. So you're sort of, putting that in the bank for yourself. And when you get out there, just remember this is like another training day.
Yeah, to me, it's going to be all smiles. I think get me in the water. That's my nervous part. Once I'm out of the water, I'm all smiles all day. And what the body brings, the body will bring, and we'll deal with it.
Excellent.
Looking forward to it.
Any last words before we go to anybody out there who's thinking about doing their first full Ironman and they're, apprehensive about the hours or the work?
I think you just got to pull the trigger. I think if you're going to do it, get it. I'm big in believer of if you're going to do it, put it on the calendar, sign up for it, and that will force you to do it. And then just put that in time. I mean, the weeks aren't as heavy as you may think. I think our biggest was 18, 19, and it happened once or twice.
Yeah.
The rest of it's pretty manageable, 12, 13, 14, 15 hours. Just do it. Like, just pull the trigger. People ask me all the time where I say I've done them. And they're like, oh, I could never do that. It's like, yeah, everyone can do it, right? It's just the mental aspect of it.
So right.
The physical will come along, right? As long as you do your training and you follow the plan, but it's 100% mental. Just sign up for it and go. That's what I would suggest.
Awesome. If this video gave you a push, like the video, drop a comment, and share it with someone else training for their first Ironman. And if you want structured, no BS coaching from someone who's done it, hit the link in the description or email me at andrew@ironmanhacks.com. Let's get you to the start line.